Now that we have everything imported, we can begin to make this template our own. So the first thing I like to do when working in templates is come over here to the bottom background page, and I like to alt-click the eyeball. And what that does is it hides everything above. It hides everything that you are not currently clicking on, actually. So if I had done that from this viewpoint, it would have done everything except this paper circle. So let's start here, and the first thing I want to do is add my background paper. I'm going to kind of do the same light background. I don't always do that, but because this particular template is going to be rather busy with everything, I want to make sure that I don't make the background busy as well. The next thing, I'm going to undo both of these bubble wraps. I'm actually not going to use the bubble wrap paint splatter that they have on here. Instead, I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to resize that. I do, however, love the angle that is at, so I'm going to keep that angle. I'm just going to spread it out here and make it about the same size. Okay, and then I'm going to hide these. You'll notice that the special effects are already in the template. However, you'll notice that the bubble wrap painting and the paint splatters do not have special effects, and that's because naturally, if you were going to paint on something, there would not be a shadow underneath it because they would be directly on top of each other. The next thing I'm going to do are the two paper strips. So I'm going to click on my first paper strip, and it's now sitting on top of here, and I'm just going to Control G to clip it on. Click on my second one. I'm going to use the exact same paper. Again, Control G. That's handled. The next thing I'm going to do is work on my 4 stars here, or 4 circles. But what I'm going to be using instead are stars. So I'm going to click on my first one. Let me make this bigger. Add my star in. I'm going to resize it. And that's just about the same size, except my change. I'm going to copy and paste the layer style. I'm going to then duplicate with Control J this star, and I'm going to add a second star a couple of circles over, so I can go ahead and move that. Let's come back to this one. I can hide that circle now, and this one right here, I can hide that circle. So let's come to this one now. And instead of resizing this one on top of the circle, I'm actually going to resize it on top of the other star so that I can make sure that my stars are relatively close to being the same size. Okay, so there's that. Can now move it over and accept the change in resizing. I'm going to copy and paste the layer style. And the reason why I do this before making my copy of the star is actually just to save me a bit of time, because then I'm not having to copy the layer style on a third and fourth star. Okay, let me hide these. The next thing I'm going to do is grab all of my stars, go to my tool bin down here, and center them top to bottom. Let me deselect that. The other thing I'm going to do, now that I have them all lined up, is I am going to, I need to do that from over here, merge those layers, and now I have one. So I can move this around anywhere I want within this area, and those stars will all stay together from now on. To clean up my circle, or my layer work area over here, I'm just going to delete these layers. I don't need them. Those will be the only ones I delete right now. The rest of them I'll delete at the end using an action, just to show you how fast and easy it is. Okay, let me resize my template by, I like to use the the roller in the center of my mouth, so I do have that setting selected in Photoshop Elements. You can do that same setting in Photoshop as well. So let's go back to the photo bin here. I'm going to open these three elements right here because that is the section I'm going to work on next. I've got a rosette here that actually has some tickets in it. Oops, excuse me. I'm going to resize that just a bit so you can get a better peek of the tickets. I'm going to copy and paste that and hide the original tickets. Let's go here to the clapperboard, and I've got a rosette that has a clapperboard on it, so I'm going to turn that, just kind of keeping it at the same angle and about the same size as this clapperboard already is, so I'm going to leave that there at that same size. Again, copy and paste the layer style, and let's go to the reel here. I also have, excuse me, a reel, and that's pretty much the same size, so I'm not going to resize that either. I will just copy and paste the layer styles and hide that. The next thing I'm going to do are these two arrows. I'm going to do those with this polka dot paper. Just to give you an idea on what I'm about to do. If I clip this on here, you don't really get a sense that that's a polka dot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize my paper. And so that I don't have to guess if my paper is the same size, I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of it. Move my second one up here. Since I'm already up here, I will go ahead and clip that. Come back down to this paper and clip that as well. The next thing I'm going to do is work with these blue flowers. These pieces in between I don't even need to open because they're just to create a layered flower look. And the flower I have is already layered, so I don't need those additional layers to even show up. So I'm just not even going to mess with them. Let's put that there. And you can see here I'm roughly using, especially on the flowers, the same size or the same color flower that is already there. Okay, let's go. Again, I'm going to use the same flower. Okay, let's go ahead and finish resizing this one. Okay, now we're at this red flower right here. And what I'm actually going to use, instead of utilizing a flower, I'm going to put in this popcorn. And let me come over here. I'm going to scoot that over a little bit. Scoot that. And then now I'm going to keep that popcorn the same size as well. Let me copy and paste the layer style. And hide the original flower under there. And I'm pretty certain, yeah, that's part of that. Okay, here's another blue one. So let's go ahead and add the blue flower in. Oh, I didn't highlight that. Okay. That'll be good. That went to that previous flower. The next thing we've got here is a banner. And I'll add in my banner now. And the first thing you'll notice is that it's, first of all, not big enough. So let's resize it. And the next thing you'll notice is it needs a slight tilt. Just the way this one was designed by the designer is a little bit different than the person who designed the template. And we'll make it a little bit bigger there. Okay. I'm actually going to tilt it ever so slightly there. And okay. Now that's done. Let's go ahead and copy and paste the layer style before we do our next step and hide that. Okay. Now, what you see here is this particular banner has these two string tie-offs at the end, and it just doesn't look right sitting on top of all these things. So we're going to actually drag this backwards in our layer palette just so that it looks like it's actually hanging behind. And actually we're going to go a little further back than that so that it sits behind these rosettes. Okay. And so now it looks like it's actually properly hanging and you don't see the loose ends hanging from there. Okay. Next thing we've got here is this ticket, and I'm actually going to use, I'm going to have to go grab it. You can see as I scroll through here the size of this kit. It's actually a collaboration, which is why it is so particularly large. And I know that it would have taken forever to get it all in. And let's see, I want that one. Let's grab this comedy one. We might want to use that. And let's grab the movies. And that'll give us several different word art things to work with here. And that's what I'm going to use in place of this ticket, since I have the tickets kind of hidden back here, and I'm actually going to reuse this rosette in another place. So let's get rid of some of these things that I know I'm done with, so I can kind of clean up. I know I'm not going to use either of these papers again, or that. Okay. Let's see. We can go here, and we're just going to put the comedy one up here. I'm going to kind of keep that at the same angle the ticket was. Okay, let's go ahead and copy and paste that. And so now we have that, and that's going to be kind of behind these pictures that I'm putting back up. So we won't be able to see anything ever anyway. I am going to leave this film strip frame up just because it's basically the best option that I have. This kit didn't come with a solid black. It's just a solid black paper, so it really doesn't make a difference. The next thing is this ribbon right here. I'm going to highlight that so I can make sure the layer shows up. I'm going to turn this over and resize it. Accept that. And now that's done. We see here that the 3D glasses, this isn't a 3D movie, and if it was a regular pair of glasses, I might leave it just because that's kind of the theme of the of the page, talking about my son pushing his glasses out to make his eyes enlarge like that. However, that's not the case, and I don't want to take the time to go find a pair of glasses from another kit that could go in there. Let's see where I'm at. Down here. We've got this kit. Instead of putting that, I'm going to add this Admit 1 element. Let's go ahead and tilt it. And copy and paste. Okay, let's go back up to this tag. I'm going to use this journaling card. And I'm going to resize that a bit. And I'm going to group it and then play with the sizing some more. And probably the angle. Oops, Control Z. Didn't mean to grab that. Okay. Let's go with that. Okay, that's the best I can do at this point, or I'm going to end up right here showing some of the edge. So let's just go with that. Leave that there like that. And the next thing I'm going to do is this button right here. I'm actually going to use this yellow flower that I'm going to resize down for that button. I like to zoom in when I'm working with these small elements just because I can really fine-tune things the way I would like. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll down here. I've got some stars that are coming up. I think that's the last of them, yeah. So let's click on this first one. What I'm going to use is this stripe paper. Again, if I were to leave this the full size, you really wouldn't get the effect that this is in fact a stripe paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize it, and I'm going to accept that change. I'm going to hit Control J twice so that I can take them to the other pictures of the stars. And now that I'm back to this one, I'm just going to clip it on. Okay, yeah, that's what the right one. So I'm going to clip that, and I'm going to clip that. So now those are done, but let me go back to here. Got this flower right here. I did not want that there. There we go. Let's move this right here. Copy and paste those layer styles. These are a part of that same flower. Let's go to the journaling. I'm going to leave that there just for a second before I do the journaling. And actually I can go ahead and get that. Let's use our text tool. I'm going to create a journaling block. I don't want it up here on top of the ribbon because that just wouldn't look natural. So I'm going to do this right here. I've already got my print selected, 14-point font, which is fine. And I'm going to clip and paste that in here. The next thing I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to move this up. To where the other journaling is. right here. Okay, I've gotten the journaling resized, but what I'm going to do, you'll notice that in the whole scheme of the layout, it's a little hard to read over here where my paint splatter is. So I'm going to go down here and kind of play with opacity of this. And let's just go down. I like that much better. Still gives it that look, but it makes my journaling pop a little more. And if we get it to roughly 100%, you can see that it's very clear and very easy to read now that I've softened the paint splatter at the bottom. Okay, let's go back up here to this. Next is the title. Again, I'm not going to put a title on this. I don't think every page needs a title. So I'm going to just not even do that. We've already done these stars. Now with this flower right here, what I'm going to choose to do is we've got these movie tickets hidden down here. And since I have, let me click on that, since I have the word movie right there, and I'm going to just bring this in here, kind of tilt it a little bit. You know, actually, not so much. Let me definitely shrink it down to size because I want it to be roughly the same size as the flower there, so it's not overpowering my pictures. Let me go ahead and copy and paste the layer styles. And let's see, we've got a picture there, which I'm not going to use. And we are done. So everything is in place. The only other thing I'm going to add is the picture was taken in 07. So right over here, I like to kind of keep, I want it to be able to go, oh, I wonder when that picture was taken. So I like to kind of document that. So the pictures were taken in July of 2007, and I journaled it in 5 of 2014. And that just kind of helps me to be able to know when I'm looking back, I can know exactly when that picture was taken care of. And I try to, when I do that, make it to where it's not something that draws a lot of attention to itself. I just kind of do it something subtle right underneath, like a straight line, and not to draw too much attention. And so there you go. Now this is complete. In the next one, we'll talk about running some actions and saving it and wrapping it up.